This is a drama about jail time in real life, not a staged reunion battle. How did we get from tumultuous relationships and cheating scandals to a full-fledged brawl? Because the reality TV scenario swiftly turned into a full-fledged murder scene. Someone by the name of Mona Scott Young became involved in this. Fists were thrown, furniture flew, and security failed to halt it, according to witnesses. Now Kirk and I are both dealing with serious legal problems. Is Rashida's relationship with Kirk finally over? Young Jock was where? Yandy Kendra, is it over already? Settle in, press the like button, and let's begin this mayhem. This is only the beginning for Kirk, Frost, and Mies, who already have enough baggage to cover an entire season of love and hip-hop. Don't even trip. You won't believe what actually transpired, and we have all the information, including the release video. Are you telling me that two fathers, mature men, and self-described businessmen were recently arrested for a fight that looked like it would have happened in a Major League Wrestling ring? Additionally, remember the individuals that initiated it, since I can guarantee that Yandy, Kendra, and Young Jock were in the vicinity, agitating the... From financial schemes to cheating scandals, Mendeecees and Kirk have always been embroiled in drama. However, this time the whispers are more than just rumors. A police officer is involved, the internet is shaking, and the streets are buzzing. Before we go into the details of this messy takedown, let's be clear. Was forced to step in and declare that enough was enough. What precisely transpired then that resulted in their getting handcuffed, having their mug shots taken, and perhaps facing some serious charges? This is reality TV gone wild, so make sure you grab some popcorn. Naturally, it all started in a fancy nightclub in Atlanta because Frost was spotted getting a bit too close to Rashida, who was certainly not his wife, after spending the last 10 years proving that he is the definition of messiness. After all these years of humiliation, one would think that Kirk would behave a little more rationally, but instead he was in full-on irresponsible mode, drinking, laughing, and muttering sweet nothings without thinking twice. Mies was in the same club, and let's just say he was already feeling furious when he listened into this mystery woman's ear as if he didn't have a whole marriage on the line. He and Yandy reportedly argued all day about something that occurred on the Love and Hip Hop set, and it appears that Yandy was still upset about it. She isn't forgetting, which irritates Mendeecees already, and she wasn't going to let him forget either. You remember the whole fake wedding situation from years ago, when Yandy thought they were lawfully married because M had never submitted the paperwork. The last thing he needed was for Yandy to find out that he had seen Kirk creep across the room without saying anything. Normally, this wouldn't be M's problem, but remember that reality stars thrive on chaos, and Yandy and Rashida are close. So what does Mendeecees do in any case? Instead of adding fuel to the flames, he decides to approach Kirk right now. Without any warning or build-up, the same M's came up to Kirk's section and called him out. Kirk, of course, did what he normally does and tried to shrug it off. Then he delivered a classic blow to Mendeecees. Man, hurry up. That was supposed to mend things, but Mendeecees wouldn't have it. He started shouting that Kirk should feel ashamed of himself, that Rashida didn't deserve this, and that he should feel ashamed of his family again. Kirk responded by clapping back rather than stopping it, adding, "Man, worry about your own. Marry before you start lecturing me about it." The last thing Mendeecees wants is for someone to bring up his relationship issues again, and Kirk did exactly that. If you know him, you know that was not the correct thing to say because, let's face it, he is not perfect. Then everything went berserk, and Mendeecees drank and leaped at Kirk. When Young Jock? Yes, Young Jock was somehow involved in the argument and trying to pull them apart. Started to interfere, flying security was already in the middle of it. Although Jock's motivation may never be known, one thing is for sure, he started to diffuse the situation rather than make it better. Speaking about men, you both need to unwind. You know Wilden, Kirk has been out here before. Dee then looked at Jock. The club was in full-blown mayhem, with patrons yelling, tables being flipped, and security personnel struggling to maintain order. Then, when it appeared like things were spiraling out of control. When Kendra entered, her level of insanity was unimaginable. The expression on her face was amazing because she witnessed her husband fighting with someone else and the lady Kirk had been seeing, and she lost it. Normally, she would have been at home taking care of her business, but instead she marched right into the thick of the mayhem. My buddies Kirk Frost and I ended up in handcuffs, looking like two morons who just couldn't keep their hands to themselves or their egos in check before security could even put things under control. Kendra lost it, screaming and pointing fingers, and I don't exaggerate. Despite everything, Mendeecees and Kirk Frost continued to argue and exchange furious words. The scene shifted from hectic to downright horrifying when the nightclub was flooded with flashing red and blue lights. Phones were out, people were hurrying wildly, and the security personnel seemed exhausted from trying and failing to maintain order. Rubbish, but they were suddenly facing significant problems. When the cops arrived at the club, the Atlanta Police Department wasn't playing around. They made arrests right away after observing the scene. Tables, flipped drinks, and yelling patrons, and guess who they targeted first? You're right, Kirk and Mendeecees. Let's be honest now. Mendeecees' heart sank when he saw those policemen coming toward him. Kirk, oh Kirk, still thought he could talk his way out of it. This man has been through years of legal drama, served time on parole, and the last thing he wanted was to be put back in handcuffs. The cops weren't believing it, especially since other people had previously told them that Kirk and Mendeecees initiated the brawl. Man, this isn't anything, just a small misunderstanding. In the meantime, young Jock, who had so far escaped being put in handcuffs, continued to discuss. The situation took an even more startling turn just when it appeared that Kirk and Mendeecees were the only ones going down. Remember Kendra. Oh baby, Kendra was not letting this night close without creating more chaos while the others were enjoying themselves. Man, this is insane. Is it really a small club drama that has them locked up? You literally stoked the flame, sir. Perhaps you should skip this one. Kendra kept shouting about the lady Kirk was seeing as the cops dealt with Kirk and Mendeecees, and then she tried to attack her. The victim was attacked by Kendra, the sophisticated lawyer, who lost all sense of professionalism and launched herself at her before security intervened. Yandy had been sitting back and watching the whole thing unfold like a movie premiere, but you know she wasn't going to let Ems go to jail without a fight. When the police officers were done, one of them yelled, "That's it, she's coming with us too." As a result, Kendra ended up in the back of a police car with her husband. Yandy screamed, "Oh hell no, y'all are not taking my husband over this nonsense," as soon as they began putting cuffs on him, but the police were not in the mood. Yandy abruptly changed course when one of them turned to face her and stated, "Ma'am, if you don't back up, you're coming too. You can say whatever you want about her, yet she's able to choose her battles." With Kirk, Mendeecees, and Kendra now in prison, as you all know, the revelation of those mug photographs sent the internet into a frenzy. On Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, memes were going viral, and people were making fun of me for being the most careless person in Atlanta and shaming Kirk for getting caught cheating again. Finally, someone made fun of Kendra for flinging her hands like a reality star. One tweet said, "Kendra's out here fighting side chicks while her husband's sitting in jail grinning like it's a family reunion photo." Another added, "Someone tell Kirk that Rashida isn't bailing him out this time. Pack your bags, we're getting a divorce kind of done because let's be honest, Kirk has been embarrassing this woman for years, and at some point enough is enough." According to insiders, Rashida concluded. However, she became furious when she received the phone call regarding Kirk's detention. Using the same justifications he has been using for the past decade, this man called Rashida while she was incarcerated and attempted to assault her. Rashida hung up on him in case you were wondering what she did. Sources claim that she said click and carried on about her day without even allowing him to finish his statement. Kudos to her. Kirk will never learn if he hasn't already. Let's get back to the jail situation now. While they awaited the charges against them, Kirk, Mendeecees, and Kendra were placed in jail. Public intoxication, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, resisting arrest, and Kendra, oh, she got arrested, were all on the long list. Everyone was scrambling to decide who would post bail first after being charged with attempted assault again, and let's just say that not everyone was feeling generous. According to rumors, DC was thrown out right away after Yandy declined to post bond. You read correctly, she was enraged and asked him to take a few minutes to think about it. In the meanwhile, Kirk was relying on Rashida to deliver, but after that phone conversation, he had to begin reassessing his whole life. Young Jock was reportedly working behind the scenes to get Kendra out of jail because, let's be honest, if she had to stay there for even a single night, Jock would be looking at divorce documents the next day. The entire situation was still being consumed by the internet in the middle of this. Even some celebs couldn't resist joining the conversation as fans compared side-by-side mug photographs and reality stars shared their thoughts. 50 Cent's Instagram post claiming that Love and Hip Hop had more arrests than the Super Bowl was one of the most dubious. He wasn't lying, to be honest, but the judge wasn't going to overlook it since, as you may remember, this wasn't a small-scale play. Rather, it was a public event at a prestigious club that was documented by witnesses and film. You could sense it as soon as the courtroom video began to play, and the judge's reaction to it swiftly altered the mood of the room. The judge sat back with their arms crossed and shook their heads, saying, "Oh, so this is what we're dealing with." The entire incident was caught on camera, including Kirk knocking me in the hands, Kendra fumbling with security and looking worn out, and the police stepping in as if they were breaking up a WrestleMania match. Additionally, the recorded, "Kirk, you had me twisted, and you don't want these problems. Look at your own ranting, Kendra. I am aware that's not how you treated me. This was no longer a minor altercation at the pub, sweetie." This demonstrated that the judge was unimpressed, and as soon as the video was over, they took off their glasses. The quiet was deafening as Kirk and Kendra sat there looking like kids caught stealing sweets until he said, "So let me get this straight. You three grown adults thought it was appropriate to turn a high-end nightclub into a WWE SmackDown event." The judge then started dissecting it, starting with ends. At first, the judge looked him in the eye. "You of all people should know better, Mr. Harris. You've been on the straight and narrow and have had legal trouble in the past. Now you're back in my courtroom for a petty nightclub fight, trying to stay calm." Dee responded, "Your Honor, it wasn't like that. I was just the judge cutting him off." "Oh no, it was exactly like that because I just watched." Then Kirk's moment came, and Mr. Frost, the judge, was ready. "You're acting like a reckless youngster in clubs, and I feel terrible for you, middle-aged man. Remember that this entire situation started because of your careless actions, your incapacity to be faithful, and your complete lack of self-control." Kirk didn't say anything and just sat there like he wanted to disappear, followed by Kendra. Since Kendra is a lawyer, the judge was understandably disappointed because she should be the more composed one and knowledgeable about the law. As a court officer, Mrs. Robinson, you ought to uphold the law rather than break it. Do you see how silly and unprofessional that looks? Knowing that she had erred, Kendra was now fighting back tears. But the judge dropped the bombshell. "I'm making the following decision, Mr. Frost. Based on the evidence, you will be required to attend anger management programs and pay a $10,000 fine. Maybe a little time away from the nightlife would help you think things through." The judge turned to Mr. Harris and said, "Given your past criminal history, I'm sending you to 30 days in county jail." Lastly, Mrs. Robinson, Kendra, as a judge. "For what you did tonight, you will be put on professional probation, fined $55,000, and forced to go through a rehabilitation program for public misconduct. You run the risk of losing your law license if you continue to break the law." That put a stop to it. You could see him muttering to himself, and it was hot. "Baby, how am I going to explain this to Kendra and Rashida? How am I going to explain this to Rashida and Kendra, baby?" was all he could think of as he appeared ill. She was 2 seconds away from losing it, and she was already acting out as Kirk was seated in the chair. Rashida went from being the head of the house to being in court for his stupid behavior at the club in a flash. The incident where someone changed Kirk's mug stands out the most. Fans were digesting Rashida's cryptic Instagram tales, which she posted with the attitude that a queen knows when to leave and that respect is unassailable. Yandy was out here fixing the damage, saying things like, "We're handling everything privately as a family. Ems made a mistake, and we're working through it." But the shade came when Yandy declined to do an interview and remarked, "I just think some men forget their too." The photo showed Rashida leaving with the caption, "Boy bye. You were the one who hyped them up about Kendra's legal career, sir, but I attempted to caution them. Few of you are aware that this type of drama aimed at Ems was outdated." Then there was Jock, who spent the entire evening discussing males on Instagram Live. Fans were enjoying it, with one comment reading, "Imagine earning your law degree only to wind up on the do not hire list because you wanted to fight over Kirk Frost's tragic, but the most hilarious reaction." The firm was reportedly unhappy and issued a statement that basically said, "We do not condone unprofessional behavior." Lawyer talk for yeah, she's on thin ice. To be honest, he might not be wrong when 50 Cent posted another meme with Kirk and Ems mug shots and the caption, "Love and Hip Hop Locked Up Edition coming soon to VH1." What will happen next? Kirk is attempting to keep his marriage intact. Mendeecees is counting down the days until he's free. Kendra is hoping her legal career is spared, and Rashida, oh. Let's talk about it in the comments area. Also, don't forget to press the notification bell, like and subscribe because this tea is so hot. Will Kirk's and Rashida's relationship end? Will Kendra lose her job? Will Mendeecees really spend 30 days in jail for a brawl at the club? It's still simmering there, complete chaos. And behind bars, Kirk being humiliated, Kendra fighting for her career, and Rashida regaining her composure like a real queen. This situation swiftly went from a wild club fight to a full-fledged legal disaster. But the real question is who is really at fault here? Kirk just being Kirk, and finally. Though this may be the most outrageous scandal yet, and you all know there will be more fallout, one thing is for sure, love and hip-hop never disappoints when it comes to chaos. Did Ra just ruin her entire career over a man who still embarrasses her? Should Ems have left instead of yelling? Tell me which side you're on, whether Rashida is finally done with Kirk Forel, whether Kendra's career is over, and whether you think I deserve the 30-day sentence, or if the judge was being too harsh. I'd appreciate hearing your thoughts. Will there be breakups, lawsuits, or even an emergency cast meeting on VH1? Additionally, while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and press the notification bell because, darling, this tea is still hot. I have more exclusives planned, as you know. How you?